Abraham is really chosen because of his faith. But what does the Torah say, our Bible say, about why Abraham was chosen? Look at the bottom of page 1. God says, "For I have chosen him in order that he may command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice." What's essential is not only your faith. Faith is part of it. What's essential is what you do with that faith. That's why the Jewish Bible has a verse which says, "The righteous shall live by their faith." It's not just what you feel inside your heart. That internal faith has to lead to a transformed life. And God says about Abraham, I know about Abraham, because he has the proper faith, he will teach his children to follow the way of God by doing proper actions. And then God says, "And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed because you have obeyed my voice." God says, why were you chosen, Abraham? Not because you simply believed, but because you obeyed. On the next page, page 2, God says, "And I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven, and I will give your descendants all these lands. And by your descendants all the nations of the earth shall be blessed." Why? Because Abraham obeyed me and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my law. Not simply because Abraham had faith. That was the starting point. What was critical, the Bible shows you, is that Abraham actualized that faith by following God, obeying God, listening to God, and walking in the ways of God. We see, by the way, that Paul just seized upon one verse which says that faith can be counted as righteousness. What Paul ignores are the next few verses I cited for you. For example, Deuteronomy 6:25 says, "And it will be righteousness for us if we are careful to observe all these commandments before the Lord our God, just as he commanded us." So what is considered to be righteousness is not simply having faith. In the Jewish Bible, the emphasis is on living according to that faith. If you go through not just the question of why was Abraham chosen, but think very carefully. Our relationship with God as a Jewish people. What is the foundation of our relationship with God as a people? The Bible is very clear about this. Look at Exodus chapter 19, verses 5 through 6. It's the third paragraph here. God says to the Jewish people, "Now then, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be my own possession among all the people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." Meaning that God is saying that the chosenness of the Jewish people is based upon our observance of the Torah. And we will see this theme repeated over and over and over again. So for example, skip one paragraph and go to where it says, "Know therefore that the Lord your God, he is God, the faithful God, who keeps his covenant and his loving kindness to 1,000 generations with those who love him and keep his commandments." God will establish his covenant not only with those people who have faith in him, but who keep his commandments and obey his laws. He says, "You shall therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments that I command you this day to do them. And it shall come to pass, if you hearken to these judgments and keep them and do them, then the Lord your God will keep you to the covenant and the mercy that he swore to your fathers." In the next passage, Deuteronomy 26, "This day the Lord your God has commanded you to do these statutes and judgments, and you shall therefore keep and do them with all your heart and with all your soul. You have avouched the Lord this day to be your God, and to walk in his ways, and keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments, and to hearken to his voice. And the Lord has avouched, he's promised to you this day, to be his peculiar people as he promised you, and that you should keep all